Thank you. Even though August is a perfect time to take a vacation, not everyone is able to do so. Well, now, even though, if you were in meditation, you did take a little vacation to the shore. I got a little color, so I want to thank you. It was very relaxing, and I got a little suntan. June gave us a wonderful meditation where we did go to the shore. So thank you, Spirit, for orchestrating that. So for those of us who are staying in town this month, we are going to gather here each week. Our theme for the month is vacation. And so we are going to take a vacation today from conscious collective vacation from our limiting thoughts and beliefs. That's what we're going to take just for now. Just for today, we're taking a vacation from all the limitation, all the scarcity that we might think exists in our lives. Because we came here for one reason, really, and that is to express God's love, to live in God's joy, and to be God's truth. And so that's where we're going to go today with this. One of Ernest Holmes' most famous talks, not talks, but quotes, is change your thinking, change your life. Ernest Holmes is the founder of Science of Mind, which is what we are here. We're a Science of Mind spiritual center, for those of you who don't know. So his phrase actually was made even larger. If you remember, Wayne Dyer did a program on PBS by the same name, Change Your Thoughts. So it reached an even greater audience. But Ernest Holmes really was phenomenal in capturing the essence of thoughts creating. Myrtle Fillmore, one of the founders of Unity, wrote, "All thought is formative. All thought has its effect in our lives." So this means that we are creating our experiences by our thinking, by our thoughts, by our beliefs. And today we're going to take that vacation from unsupported thinking. And maybe it might just change our lives. Erin came up and gave a little talk about how she's changing her life through conscious thinking. Conscious thinking. And this morning I want to take a look at a term coined by Victoria Castle in her book, The Trance of Scarcity. Castle believes that for the most part, humankind is in a trance. In her book, she explores the idea about this trance, which I will use in the talk today. It's about the trance of that scarcity thinking. Is it true? Are we living in a trance of scarcity? That we fear we won't have enough? What are our beliefs around that whole idea of scarcity, of not enoughness? So we could be in this trance either full-time or part-time. But I'm sure we all go in and out of it. So today we're going to take a look at that. This trance has two key words: not enough. Those are the two key words. And they take two key forms. The first is the I am form. And the second one is the there is form. So I am, there is. Two forms of not enough. I am not enough. I am not good enough, smart enough, rich enough, thin enough, heavy enough, successful enough, creative enough. It goes on and on. Those voices, those that we hear in our heads, in our minds, those thoughts, I'm not enough. Or the other form, there is not enough. There is not enough time. There is not enough money. There is not enough good. There is not enough friends. There's not enough. It goes on. This is what we play in our minds, right? Today we're taking a vacation from that. Quite honestly, yes, doesn't it sound good? Oh, let it go. Quite honestly, the prevailing premise of not enoughness, which I can think of most of us experience from time to time, and what it does is it cripples us. It robs us of the joy and the happiness that we really are here to express in life. We really are. Hello, newsflash for those who don't know it. We are really here to enjoy life. Why not? Why not? You have a choice. When we are in that not enough mode, however, we certainly are not able to express God's love because there's not enough. Be God's light because we're not good enough. Live God's truth because when we're in that scarcity trance, that mode, we don't even know what God's truth is. We don't even know what it is. The not enough mode flies in the face of the master teacher Jesus when he said, I have come so that you might have life and have it more abundantly. Brilliant teacher, brilliant. There is no not enoughness in that statement. There is no not enoughness in that statement. Nonetheless, we blindly and quite loyally stick to our beliefs. They adhere to us like glue. We believe those beliefs and they just stick to us. Richard Bach wrote, argue for your limitations and they are yours. No truer words could have been spoken. As a race, as a human race, we have so long lived with the belief that we are not enough, that there is not enough, that for much of the time and for most of our lives, that has been our experience. And I'm getting to the point where if everything that I've done before hasn't changed the patterns of what I'm experiencing that I don't like, then it's time for me to choose a new thought. Come up with a different way of living, of thinking. We create our lives through our thoughts. Really, we're powerful. We really are. Bernard Lietaer, I hope I said that right, he's an economist, and he was the co-designer of the single European currency system and co-author of a book, The Future of Money. He wrote something very interesting that goes with our New Thought kind of way of thinking. He said, and he wrote, if a society is afraid of scarcity, it will actually create an environment in which it manifests well-grounded reasons to live in the fear of scarcity. As a global race. So let's make that statement personal. I am afraid of scarcity. I will actually create an environment in which I manifest well-grounded reasons to live in the fear of scarcity. The fear that there's not enough, that someone's going to come and take it away, that there's enough for everyone when you let go and relax into that knowing. So today we take that vacation from scarcity, just for this moment, just for this service, right here, right now. And we do this so that we can stop manifesting these well-grounded reasons to live in fear of scarcity. So that we can begin to live the Master Teacher's promise that we're here to live life and live it abundantly. So that we can more fully and more powerfully express God's love within us. Express it. Be God's light and God's truth, because that is, as I said, what we are here to do. Sound good to you? It sounds really good to me. Does it sound good to you?
Oh, yes.
All right, I'll make sure you're awake. So I want to suggest some spiritual tools that we can use in taking that vacation and maybe making it a permanent vacation from that scarcity thinking. And so we'll call these three tools reality check, opening our eyes, and give until it feels good. You like that?
I do. Better than
Let's look at the first tool. Take a reality check. Several years ago, Lene Carroll, if you've heard of her daughter Jewel, she wrote a book. And her book was called The Architecture of Abundance. And in it, she shares a very powerful, powerful experience and an awakening that she had. And this experience for her was specifically around financial lack. We can apply it to any not enoughness, anything that we think not enough. But it might help us awaken from scarcity thinking. Lenandra was a single mother with several health challenges, and so she had not been able to work for a while. And her finances were dwindling down and down. And she would practice New Thought, which we call New Thought. She would do her meditations. She would do her prayer work. She would practice positive thinking. She was doing her meditation, but nothing seemed to be working. She still wasn't manifesting money. And money is what she wanted to manifest. She was very, very afraid. She got really scared because she had to pay her car payments, her mortgage was coming due, and she needed food to feed and insurance to pay for her health benefits. So one day she was in a panicked prayer. Anyone ever been in a panicked prayer? Anyone ever pray from that state of, oh my God, please? I mean, that's kind of like the gist of a panicked prayer. In this panicked prayer, she said to God, look, I've done everything I can think of to do. Please guide me, give me strength, show me how. I've meditated, I've prayed, I've followed all these I've used every spiritual tool. Nothing is happening. And I'm almost out of money. And I can't pay the mortgage payment, and my car payment is due. And she was definitely in this panic mode. Suddenly, she heard a voice inside of her head. Sometimes we do, and sometimes it's a good voice. This was a strong, calm, assured voice. And it said to her, Lenandra, pray for what you need now. She replied, I am. The rent is due in 2 weeks. The car payment is due at the end of the month. I am praying for that. The voice said again in a very calm manner, pray for what you need now. She started to get irritated with this voice inside of her. I am and I have been. The voice said one more time, pray for what you need now. I must be missing the point. This is all going on, as we sometimes do have these conversations. Yes, I must be missing the point. As she started to contemplate this for a few minutes, this voice and what it was saying, I think I have been doing this. What am I missing? I must be overlooking something. My car payment is due in just 2 weeks. My mortgage is coming up. And she started to feel the panic again, as when we go into that mode. Be still. Be still. Listen. Pray for what you need now. But I am, she said. I need my rent the next month. My car payment is now. Be still. The voice is going back and forth. And you mean right now? Like in this instant now? This is the nowness that, Eckhart Tolle spoke about, the power of now. But this is the now that I speak of, that I use personally to bring myself back to center. When I feel myself getting pulled into one of those kind of panicked or anxious states, I go into, okay, God, I have all I need right here, right now. I'm perfectly fine right here, right now. All of my needs are met right here, right now. And what that does is it brings me really back into alignment with Spirit. And what it also does is it helps me create a new way of thinking, but in the now. So it's, not in an hour, in a day, but right here, right now. This is part of the reality check. And she wrote about that in her book. Because she started to realize that that in her own life, if she brought herself back, like I did, like any of us can, to this now moment, that everything was provided for. She had a roof, she had a car, everything was fine, right where she was. She wrote, this was her big epiphany. A silence opened up. I fall headlong into it. A rush of understanding floods my being. I have this extraordinary sensation of having no need, being absolutely free of need. Throwing my head back, I laugh aloud at the simplicity of it. My chest expands with the breath of it. My heart pumps fully with the ease of it. The moment expands and I weep at the freedom from crushing need. She writes about how she disciplines herself and is now creating from that expanded place of freedom, actually, because it's a freedom. And as she practices this over the next several days, she starts to notice what she calls miracles happening. She was in the post office, and a stranger comes up to her, and he said, would you be interested in trading your truck for my car? This truck ran fine. She had no problem with that. No more car payments. And then a neighbor had an overflowing garden of all this food. It was a surplus. So she asked if she would be interested in having some of this fresh food. This is a true story, by the way. The city tourism office inquired if she would like to rent a couple of rooms in her historic home. Guess what? No more mortgage payment. This is the synchronicity, this is the unfolding of when we switch our thinking and come from that now place, of come from, all of my needs are met now. What is the universal law hearing? All of my needs are met now, here. This is a giving universe that we speak of. It doesn't withhold, it gives, it supports. So what do you need right now? Right in this moment. In this moment. Not in an hour, not in a day, not in a week, but right here, right now, that you don't already possess. This is called a reality check. And it's a great, great tool, and it's one that I've used often, and it really works. So we have to realize that we need absolutely nothing right now. Right now, we have everything we could ever need or desire. It's all within us. We have it right here, right now. We begin to wake up from that whole trance of scarcity thinking. This is a step that will take us out of scarcity thinking into creating more abundantly if we believe that we have all we need right here, right now. That's changing the thought, that changes the effect, that changes the whole experience. The condition changes with that. It has to. The law of attraction, the law of cause and effect work that way. We wake up from the trance of scarcity, and we help the whole world wake up, because the world needs to wake up too. This is a global awakening we're speaking of right now. In Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes wrote, we live in mind, and it can return to us only what we think into it. No matter what we do, the law will always obtain. If we are not thinking of ourselves as poor and needy, I am not enough, then mind has no choice, the divine mind has no choice but to return what we have thought into it, into our experiences. It is done unto you as you believe. Thoughts of failure, limitation, poverty are negative and must be counted out of our lives for all times, he writes. God has given us a power and we must use it. And we can do more towards saving the world by proving this law, proving to yourself, proving this law, than all the charity that has ever been given to it. So what he's writing about is proving it. Prove it, as Erin did. She stated an amount, she proved it to herself. This works if you believe it fully, if you believe in fullness, in abundance, in richness, in lavishness.